I'm not surprised. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not that surprised whatsoever. What we saw tonight at Backlash was truly history in the making. I don't have the words for it. All I can say is, holy shit. What a way to kick off the new season to WrestleMania 40, to WrestleMania, this time to WrestleMania 42 with tonight's Backlash. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here, and welcome back to the channel. I'm not gonna waste any time. Backlash was truly a night to ask ourselves what the fuck just happened. And I think we figured out that tonight was truly the start of not only new beginnings, but also the beginning of an era that can never, ever be duplicated. Let's kick off the results with the Fatal 4-Way for the United States title between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight. We knew that all four of these men were going to be swinging, and damn it, did they ever. Priest went after Drew, Knight went after Fatu. This literally lived up to the hype. It lived up to all of our expectations, and we knew that under Fatal 4-Way rules, we knew that it was going to be chaotic, it was going to be epic, and it was going to be very, 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 like, insane, like absolute carnage. And as Big E would say, it was a clear case of big meaty men slapping me. The only little dude that was in the match was obviously LA Knight, but who's counting, right? I will say, I think what did the match in was the moment that Priest and Drew went through a couple of tables, and that I think that was what did them in. We knew that at some point they were going to take themselves out, and again, we knew that McIntyre, wanted to become the United States champion, thus becoming a Grand Slam winner, but it did not come to pass as Priest hit Drew McIntyre with a south of heaven from within the stands of the WWE universe through tables. But we found out as the show progressed, we found out that Drew McIntyre had been taken to WWE's medical team for evaluation as his head got slammed not through the table but through the floor. And unfortunately, we don't know the extent of Drew's condition. However, we do know that the final moments of the match made all the difference as Solo Sikoa came in, literally saved Jacob Fatu from losing the United States title, and he got hit into a clothesline that was performed by none other than a man who has won championships everywhere he's gone. Everywhere he has gone, and he was once a part of a faction known as the United Empire by the name of Jeff Cobb. You heard me right. Jeff Cobb. who we saw in AEW months past, months prior. Obviously, for me, I don't watch AEW, but it's from what I've seen on social media that he was signed to AEW for a while. And think of his accolades, right? Former AAW Tag Team Champion with David Starr and a man by the name of Eddie Kingston. Former Action Zone Wrestling AZW Heavyweight Champion 3 times. APW Universal Champion. Young Lions Cup. He's won championships everywhere he's gone. Including in New Japan, the Never Openweight Champion, and the NJPW World Television Champion as well. The guy is a world travel athlete and has seemingly joined up with the Bloodline, and he seemingly joined up with Solo Sikoa and his Bloodline. And it's weird because we knew how good Jeff Cobb is, right? I mean, he's got an incredible championship resume, and I even talked about it on the channel in a previous video that we could end up seeing Jeff Cobb show up at some point. We didn't know when, and we didn't know what brand he was going to be on, but now we know that he'll be a part of SmackDown as he helped Jacob Fatu retain the United States title as Fatu hit an LA Knight with a moonsault to pick up the victory. And just as we thought that all three men, Solo, Cobb, and Fatu were going to stand side by side, nope. Fatu was like, nope, fuck you guys. I'm gone. I went out there, I handled my business, now it's time for me to leave and just do Jacob Fatu things. And even with that moment, and even with that table spot that Drew and Priest had, that was by far one of the most incredible Fatal 4-Way matches anybody's ever seen. Instant 5-star classic. Not even gonna deny it. Could it have ended differently? I mean, Solo had, we knew Solo had a trick up his sleeve, and plus, I believe this was Jacob Fatu's first title defense. There was no way in hell that Jacob Fatu was gonna lose. No fucking shot. No shot. Jacob Fatu all the way. But we move from the the United States title to the women's Intercontinental title, which was a battle of the Irish between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. And this was a weird one because I even touched on it when I did my predictions for Halloween Havoc in 2023. Was it Halloween Havoc 23? Hold on. Hang on a second. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Hang on a second. Maybe it's in this book. Maybe it's in my other book. Give me 1 second, you guys. Give me 1 second. No Mercy. Wait, did I do... I think I did do, I think I did do predictions for Halloween Havoc. It was either Halloween Havoc or something else. I touched on how Lyra Valkyria was gonna be in for a hell of a fight against Becky Lynch, and sure enough, she was. She was in a hell of a fight. Against Lyra Valkyria. I believe it was War Games. I think Survivor Series 23. When Becky Lynch returned, I think in the result video I talked about how she was in a massive fight against Lyra Valkyria and ended up losing the NXT Women's title. The weird thing is that their careers, in a way, they kind of paralleled with one another, dating back to their time. Obviously, again in Dublin. Obviously, Becky, training with Finn Balor at his school in Bray County. Obviously, Lyra later on following suit. Their careers kind of intertwined a little bit, and it came. Some would say that it came full circle at Halloween Havoc a few years ago, but I don't see it that way. The way I see it, I truly believe that this matchup tonight was the match that came full circle because of the fact that they had known each other for a hot minute. They've teamed together. They've been in the ring with one, against one another. This was the match that Lyra Valkyria needed to prove to the world that she could hang with the big guns, such as Liv Morgan, such as Bayley, and even Becky Lynch, who ended up. Sorry guys, I kicked my tripod. Anyway, who became hang on, let me fix my tripod. Give me 1 second. Let me fix my tripod. Back that up a little bit. There, move my chair. There we go. Perfect. Sorry guys, had to move my tripod back a little bit and move my chair forward. Anyway, also, and moving on from that, and also to prove to Becky Lynch that she could hang again with women the likes of Bayley and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez and Charlotte Flair and even also Becky Lynch herself. And tonight she proved it. Lyra Valkyria proved it in an incredible matchup between the two. And it's weird because we knew that Becky Lynch was going to come into this match. We knew she was going into this match with a few tricks up her sleeve. Obviously, trying to rake the eyes, bringing in in a steel chair, exposing the top turnbuckle. She threw everything that she could in the book at Lyra Valkyria. She even almost broke Lyra's nose to try to win, but that was her big mistake where she attempted to break Lyra's nose, try to roll her up, and it completely backfired as Lyra Valkyria rolled up Becky Lynch to retain the women's Intercontinental title. But unfortunately for Lyra, Becky Lynch attacked Lyra and just went off. She went off. I think aside from that, again, we knew that Becky Lynch was coming in with a few tricks up her sleeve, and tonight, that's exactly what she did. She brought every trick she could think of in the book at Lyra, and it all backfired. But the question is, was that the match that for Lyra Valkyria to win, or was that the match that she needed to lose the title? The way I see it, I feel like it was the match that she needed to win, because if she lost, then there would be a lot of people who would probably go on social media and just say, what was the point of putting the title onto Lyra when Becky was going to win it either way? Those are the fans that I believe that don't know the business. They don't know what they want. And I know that it might sound weird for me to say that, and and I get that this might piss off a lot of people, but it's a fact. The fans that would say things like that is proof that the WWE is putting their focus on the fans who know exactly what they want. Like when you look at Cody Rhodes as a perfect example. The fans wanted him to become WWE champion at WrestleMania 39. Did that work? No. Why? Because of the bloodline. One year later, last year, the fans wanted Cody to finish the story, and we got it. Last month at WrestleMania, we saw an incredible 5-star classic between Cena and Rhodes, and Cena picked up the victory. Known with the fact that we had, that he had Travis Scott went, to help him. We all know. But this match between Lyra and Becky was very interesting. But I feel like I should give this 4 stars, only because I feel like it could have ended a little bit better. I feel like Lyra could have ended the match clean instead of it being a dirty win. And I feel like because that Becky exposed the turnbuckle and almost broke her nose, that was the moment that I feel like Lyra had to pick up the victory in the dirtiest way possible. Now, if it was a clean way possible, I don't know. I feel like maybe it still could have been a 4-star match, but it's a 4-star match nonetheless. But the question is, does Becky Lynch need another championship to be the GOAT? And the answer is no. She's already a 7-time world champion. She's already a former women's tag team champion. She's already a former Royal Rumble winner. She's already a former Elimination Chamber winner, a former NXT women's champion. She's done everything that she set out to do in WWE. There's no point in putting yet another championship on the shoulders of someone like Becky Lynch. There's no point. So was this the right call? Absolutely, 100%. But could the match have ended clean? Could they have ended the match clean? 100%. But Becky wanted to play dirty, and Lyra had no choice. Plain simple. But we move from the women's Intercontinental title to the men's Intercontinental title between Dirty Dom and Penta. I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say about it. We knew that the Judgment Day was going to get involved. They did. And we knew that El Grande Americano, or Chad Gable for that matter, was going to get involved as well, because of his disdain for the style of Lucha Libre and the luchadors that have been a part of WWE. Obviously, guys like all the members of the LWO, guys like Penta, Rey Fenix, Andrade. Guys like Legado del Fantasma, Vikingo, who we saw at WrestleMania. He's had a disdain for luchadors and the wrestling style known as Lucha Libre. This match between Dom and Penta was literally that. It was a battle of the luchadors. Excuse me. And obviously El Grande Americano with the loaded mask hits Penta with a headbutt. Dom hits a frog splash on the Penta. 1, 2, 3. That was it. Dom retains his Intercontinental title. Honestly, At some point, the question now must become, when does it end? When does it end for El Grande Americano, and when will the mask be exposed? When will Americano's identity be exposed? At this point, it has to come to pass. It has to, because if it doesn't, there's no telling when it'll happen, nor do we know if it will ever happen. No one fucking knows. But I will say that Dirty Dom is truly starting to grasp what it means to get over with the fans. Now he has an understanding of what it means to get over. Yeah, sure, he got over with the fans when he first joined Judgment Day, but that was only a small taste. And what got him over as a top heel was the heat that he got from the fans over the bullshit that he said, not only to his father, but in front of his father, literally to his face, and even about his father, about his family, saying that he, saying that he's the better Mysterio between him and his father, saying that he's the greatest Mysterio of all time. Now we're a month into WrestleMania, and we're already over an hour and a half, if you will, after his match, and the fans are still cheering for him. This proves my point. Finn Balor is going to be the catalyst behind the destruction of the Judgment Day. As we get closer and closer to Worlds Collide, the question becomes, are we going to see Dom defend his title at Worlds Collide? And the answer is yes, we could very may well see it, because it's not just AAA and NXT, it's also the main roster, which means we could end up seeing the LWO show up. We could see the Lucha Brothers get involved in at the show, at the event. We could see Legado del Fantasma. We could see Rey Fenix. Obviously the Lucha Brothers I mentioned. We could see the LWO, Dirty Dom. There's a lot of people that we can expect to see show up to Worlds Collide and showcase their talent to the entire world. That being said, this match though, 4 stars. You can't, anytime Penta is in a match, you know damn well it's gonna be a very insane match. This one was no different. Could it have ended differently? Absolutely. Penta winning without El Grande Americano. I feel like if he didn't get involved, Penta would have won easily. But obviously Penta is still a few months into his career in WWE, so there's still a lot of room for him to wiggle his way around into his way through the roster and potentially becoming a champion in WWE. There's still time. Next up, Pat McAfee and Gunther. Not gonna lie, this was completely unexpected. I honestly did not believe that we would ever see Pat McAfee in yet another match. And the funny thing is, I have called every single one of Pat McAfee's matches here on the channel. From his match against Adam Cole at TakeOver 30, to his match against the Undisputed Era inside War Games, Austin Theory at WrestleMania against Vince, the very literally just minutes after, Baron Corbin, the Royal Rumble match last year in 2024. I've called them all. I've called every single one of those matches. This one was no different. But we knew that Pat McAfee was going to be way in over his head. But here's the crazy thing. He took Gunther to the limit. He literally pushed himself and just simply brought the fight to Gunther, and we knew Michael Cole was going to be biased. He was going to cheer for Pat McAfee like it was nothing, and he did. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Wade Barrett had a little bit of leniency and sided with Pat McAfee just a little bit. But I will say, that I think Gunther, even after tonight, has a lot more respect now for both Cole and for Pat McAfee than he did after WrestleMania. Because, again, even in spite of Pat McAfee losing, Gunther has earned. Pat McAfee has earned Gunther's respect. And even though Gunther made Pat McAfee pass out to the sleeper, this proved that Pat McAfee, deadass, belongs in WWE. Whether it's in the ring, on commentary, it don't matter. He belongs in WWE. So props to him. 4 stars, not gonna complain. I don't know. I think Pat McAfee was way in over his head. But again, against guys like Baron Corbin, Austin Theory, Adam Cole, those were matches that he had to be a part of because of the fact that the guys that he had been in the ring with were the ones that got in his face first. They were the ones that fired the first shot. But ironically enough, with this matchup, this was all on Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. They were the ones that fired the first shot by giving out their opinions on Jey Uso, but trying to become world champion, who now is world champion, ideally. So I think tonight proved that Pat McAfee belongs in WWE and has earned the respect of Gunther. So props to Pat, but could have ended differently? Nah. Crazy as it sounds, no. But now we move into the main event, and this was literally one of the craziest things I've ever seen. A childhood relived once again. John Cena, Randy Orton for the WWE title. Not gonna lie, I think we're at a point now where we have to face the reality that this could end up being the year that John Cena walks away as champion. Literally retires as champion. And yes, guys, I literally did spoil it. John Cena retains, but how, you may ask? Well, let's talk about it. We knew that John Cena was going to be in enemy territory, and the roar of the crowd cheering for Randy Orton was no different. This was literally everything that we expected. We knew that they were gonna go at it and they were going to tear the house down, and indeed they did. We knew that John Cena was going to try and cheat to win, and he did that. This was chaotic. Both the announce table and a regular table were broken by John Cena at the hands of Randy Orton, and it was just chaotic. 2 referees got taken down. One of them got taken down by John Cena via the WWE title. A bunch of officials, the SmackDown GM Nick Aldis showed up. It was chaotic, and there was an RKO party, not only to Nick Aldis but to multiple officials, even to Jamie Noble. It was just pure chaos, and we saw John Cena hit Randy Orton with the title to retain the title, and literally just said he needs competition and doesn't need the fans and doesn't need music. So now the question becomes, what's next for Randy Orton? Could we see him compete in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match? 100%. We could 100% see it. But I will say, I think we're at a point now where we now have to ask ourselves, who's next for John Cena? At this point, it could be anybody. For all we know, it could be R-Truth, because he was the one that got involved in the match, costing Randy Orton the title. Who knows? Who knows? But this proves how much of a dumbass R-Truth can really be. But to be fair, he is a national treasure. We can't not hate the guy, to be fair. But other than that, I mean, the whole card itself, absolutely incredible. Instant classic for the WWE title. 5 stars, not gonna complain. I mean, Randy Orton had all the chances of becoming champion again. There was no shot. But overall, the card itself was absolutely chaotic. It was amazing. Not gonna lie, this was a very, very incredible PLE. 4 stars, easy, not gonna complain. But with that being said, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.